about a new starter kit called Scaffold-Agent that I built for building AI agents quickly and using ampersend SDK for that. So it's going to be very exciting. We're going to try to get our hands dirty, actually like build some stuff. And if you're new here, this is something we do every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We come on here, we talk about something related to the AI industry or on-chain applications, on-chain AI agents, you name it. We have different guests, or we'll try to highlight something new that's coming out, either from the Graph, Edge and Node, ampersend, and just like, yeah, try to educate you guys, get some good quality speakers, and yeah, just have some fun at the same time. So please be sure to follow the Edge and Node X account and click the subscribe button. Make sure that you're following and have notifications on. We also have the Edge and Node YouTube that we live stream as well. We're live streaming now. So you can always watch that, subscribe there if you prefer YouTube. If you follow the X account, you'll see that the logo will light up and you can click that and this will kind of give you this live stream. We're also going to be experimenting with spaces soon. So if anyone's interested in becoming on the spaces and talking about AI or wants to be a speaker on this podcast, please just reach out and let us know. You can either reach out to the Edge and Node account, or you can find me. My username is on there as well. It's cryptomastery_. Please just shoot me a message. We would love to have you on if you have something interesting that you want to talk about. So that being said, let's dive right into it and let's actually build something awesome today. We're going to take a look at first Scaffold-Agent. So if any of you are new to Ethereum or new to building in this space, you may have heard of Scaffold-ETH. Scaffold-ETH is kind of like a starter kit for building on Ethereum, originally designed as kind of the solution for being able to write smart contracts and a front end. And I wanted to build something that was very similar, uses the same kind of primitives, but specifically for building on-chain AI agents with this architecture that we discussed last week, which is called Spider. And it's like this new kind of idea that you need to build a framework that kind of models how AI agents are going to interact in the future. And this is something we need to think about as we start to build AI agents, is these different kind of like pillars or kind of important things. So security is one, payments, identity, discovery, Ethereum, and then runtime. So it's this, how do we actually build an agent that kind of follows that kind of guideline? And I built Scaffold-Agent as a solution for that. So anyone who wants to check it out, you can go to Scaffold-Agent, scaffoldagent.xyz, and you can check it out. It's open source, MIT license. Please feel free to contribute if you're interested. But we're going to try to build an agent with that today. It will also set up the ampersend SDK inside there. So let's kind of toy around with it and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we'll do entire screen. And there we go. Okay. All right. So we will go to scaffold-agent.xyz. So if you go here, it's going to basically tell you like, hey, what exactly is Scaffold-Agent? Well, it will help you build smart contracts on Ethereum. It will help you build a front end for that AI agent to be able to interact with the smart contract. It will give you a hookup to an LLM provider. It's secure by default, and it will allow you to do things like have payments for your AI agent, being able to accept payments or make payments. The GitHub for it is here. It's available in this repo, Scaffold-Agent. You can kind of check it out. And again, I would love for if anyone wants to contribute, please let me know. And there's this cool little view as agent, which is kind of cool, which will show you the skill. And the skill, you can just kind of like, if you want to point your skill directly at your AI agent, like if you're building with OpenClaw or Cursor or Claude Code or whatever, you could just point it at this URL, which is like right here at the top, the skill MD, which is available at scaffold-agent/skill.md. And oh, it's not available there, actually. That's interesting. It should work, actually. Let's see. Might have to fix that. Oh, there it is. So it's capital skill. So yeah, so it's available for the AI agent to kind of parse that as well. But we're going to, do it as a human. We're going to go old school. We'll probably use AI, of course, but to like help us out if we get stuck. But let's kind of walk through what this is going to do if you were a human, or if you're an AI agent, what is it going to actually spin up for you? So we're going to grab this kind of npx command. And we're going to go into our root directory, And we'll just go into, we'll make a directory called temp. And we'll go into that temp directory and we'll run this command. Okay. So this is going to ask you if you want to install the most recent version. You're going to want to say yes. And then it's going to ask you what you want your name of your project to be. So this is very similar if you've ever used npx create eth. This is very similar flow. We're going to say, we'll call this my cool bot. I don't know. All right, and then it's going to ask us if we want to like store our secrets in OneClaw, which is like the default. It's recommended. This OneClaw is like a secrets manager, similar to like HashiCorp Vault or 1Password you may have heard of, or you can just encrypt the env as well and store it locally, which works as well. Or if you don't want any encryption, which is not recommended, you can do none. But let's go ahead and use OneClaw so we can show off how this works. So OneClaw has an API. So let's go grab that API key. So we will go to, let's open up a new instance here of a browser. Go to OneClaw, XYZ. We'll sign in with Google, and we'll generate an API key. So if you come down here, right here where it says API keys, and you say new API key, you can create an API key. We'll call this my cool bot and create the key. You can do like scopes for how that agent should have access, or that human should have access to that thing, but we'll just leave it open for demo purposes. We'll copy the key. We're going to delete this key anyways, so normally you wouldn't want to show that, but we're going to enter that key, paste it in. And then you need to store that key in an encrypted way. Like you don't want to just leave it on the disk. So it's going to ask us to put a password on it. So let's put a password on it. Oh, let me make sure I typed it right. Put it in twice. Now it's going to ask you if you want to generate an identity for the AI agent. We do. We're going to use OneClaw for that as well. Do you want to install the ampersend SDK? Yes, we do. We want to be able to control payments. Ampersend SDK allows us to like say, oh, you can only spend this much ETH or USDC, USDC on a transaction or on a daily limit or monthly limit, and you get some like cool dashboard views. So we'll say yes. Which LLM provider do you want to use? So OneClaw also is its own LLM provider. So you can essentially use OneClaw as a proxy to go do all of your LLM traffic for security, or you can like use your own key. We'll just go ahead and use OneClaw just for the sake of testing. And then it asks you what model you want to use. So you get to choose the model. You can use all of these different ones. It's kind of up to you. I will use Google. And LCU asks you if you want to bill all of your LLM traffic through OneClaw, which is easy, and I don't have to provide another key. I could, if I wanted to bring my own key, I could, but I'll just use OneClaw as well. It asks us if we want to use a chain. So we probably want to have like a smart contract to maybe deploy and have our agent have as his smart contract. So we'll say yes, and we'll use Foundry. It asks us what front-end framework we want to use. So we'll say Next.js, and that's it. So now it's going to generate a deployer account for our setup, and it's going to put the private key in OneClaw, and then it's going to also generate an agent address and put that private key in OneClaw as well. And we might need to manipulate that because we're going to be using ampersend as well, but we'll figure it out. Oh, it gave me an error because I have usage issues, but that's okay. We can fix that here in a sec. Actually, you know what we'll do is we'll go in here real quick and we will delete one of these so that we can rerun it, because we want to have those keys stored easily inside of here. It'll be a lot easier. So let me come in here, let me delete, oh, the one cool bot, it worked. So we can just delete this one. So you can see what it did with OneClaw is it stored the secrets inside of the HSM. Let me delete this one. So we have the vault, which is my cool bot, and it stored the secrets in here. You can see that it's created a private key for the agent and the deployer and stored it. But what we need it to do is actually create the agent as well. So we can use AI to kind of try to do that here in a second. Okay, so it's going to go through and install all of the packages here. And it shouldn't take too long, but it's got to install like, it's going to install Vercel AI SDK. It's going to install Shad CDN, kind of like make sure everything is like formatted really well. And it's going to install the ampersend SDK, Rhinestone, MetaMask SDK, Wallet Connect, a lot of just different things that it needs that an AI agent would need. Oh, Agent Zero SDK, so for ERC 8004. It's also going to install some stuff for ENS resolution, so it's going to be really, really useful. Okay, so here we have now the public key and the public key for our deployer account. So it creates a deployer account for you know, you don't ever want to use like the keys that come with Foundry or Hardhat, so it creates one for you that's, you know, unique. It also creates the agent address. Again, you probably want your agent to have an identity, so it creates that for you. And then it's gonna probably tell us here, let's see, list agent UIDs. So I think what we need to do is make sure that it has, let's load this up in Cursor. And let's just see. So CD mycoolbot. Oh, and let's load it up with Cursor real quick. And what we can do is say that, what was the error we got earlier? Let's say we got right here. Let's space this because it looks like it tried to store something, but we'll see if AI can just fix that. Ooh, okay, here we go. So let's come here. So yeah, there's a limit on how many agents you can have with one class. So I think what we need to do is just see if it will give me the command to do it manually and then add that. Okay, so while we're doing that, we're going to open up a few windows here. Oh, let's put this here up. So we're going to split up the screen into a few windows. And the reason why we're going to do this is we want to, just like Scaffold-ETH, we need to have a chain up, and we also need to have our front end up. And then we also need to be able to like deploy. So we need a few windows open because we're going to run an AI agent inside of Next.js, but we're also going to run the chain Foundry in another window, and then we're going to need a window to do the deploys. So here we go. So use the repo just env helper. Okay, so the repo has this just env helper that lets us set envs. So let's see. Let's see if I can do it for me. It goes just env helper develop merge into the root env. I have to write something to do it. Ha, that's nice. It's actually redacting it. So right now it's trying to create the agent so that it can get an API key. We might need actually to start from scratch here. Let's see if it can do it. Okay, so okay, so there's a just command for that, so we can just try running that. Let's see if that works. So put the password in. Okay, so let's see if it works. So it wrote the ID. Okay, so I think it should work now. Okay, so let's try it. So we're going to run just chain first. So that's going to spin up our chain. And then over here, we're going to go into that same directory. Sorry, this is probably hard to read. Temp mycoolbot. And this one we're going to do just start. Okay, so this is going to run the chain this is going to run our front end, okay, on port 3000. And then in here, we'll go into that same directory and we will do just fund. So what that does is it grabs some funds from the faucet and it funds the agent or the deployer address so that we can deploy the contract. And then we can do just deploy. So very similar pattern again as Scaffold-Eth. There it goes. And it deployed the contract and it was successful. Okay, so we have a deployment contract deployed locally to Anvil. And we have our front end running. So now we should be able to come over here and load up our AI agent. Let's see if it works. On port 3000. Okay, here we go. So now we have an AI agent running. Now you get this very, very basic chat interface, but that's really all you need is just a way to chat with your agent. And you can see we have this wallet that's connected. We could disconnect if we wanted to and see when we connect. We get similar things where we can connect to the Scaffold-Eth burner wallet. So if we just do that, we'll get a wallet. So this is the user wallet. Like me as a user, I'm using this application and I'm going to be talking to the AI agent. So I have a unique wallet, right? You might disconnect and you might connect with like Rainbow or Base or MetaMask or Wallet Connect. But if we use the burner wallet, it's just kind of like a temporary wallet. We get this debug contract tab similar to like Scaffold-Eth, where we can click that and see what contract was deployed, what functions are available. So we can see here that the contract address is here. There's a function called execute, and there's an event called executed. So it's a very basic smart contract, nothing advanced here that you can really do, just kind of just to view it. We have this info icon here, which basically points to identity. And it basically gives you the ability to register your AI agent with ERC 8004. So if you did have your AI agent on base Sepolia or base mainnet or one of the supported ERC 8004 chains, then you could register your AI agent as well, just using that kind of like interface. I don't know why it's not loading. There it is. So here's the wallet address for the agent. So again, we have a human wallet and then we have the agent wallet. And it's automatically trying to search the Agent 0 SDK to see if there's an agent there. And it also has the ability to register on chain. So we'll skip that. Then we have this other tab, which also will guide you through creating an ENS for the AI agent as well. So eventually we'll have where you can just natively select an ENS name in here. So like if you had an AI agent, you could buy him a .eth and then just like purchase it and assign it right inside this tab with your AI agent. That's not there yet, but that's coming soon. And then there's this wallet tab as well. So you can see like what the balances are. And this is what I'm most interested in. Hopefully it worked. But what we should have here is the balances. And this is running a little slow, so I apologize, but it's compiling right now. There it goes. There we go. So it's getting the balance for the agent wallet and for my wallet. So the agent wallet has 100 ETH, and this one has no ETH. And then that brings us back to this, which is the faucet button. So we can click that, and it will send 10 ETH from the local faucet to our wallet. And then we can come back here and check and see now we have some funds right there. So this will probably evolve a little bit, but it's very basic. And now we just created an AI agent by running all those commands. It's available inside of our browser. It has an identity. It has really like a wallet. We deployed it all locally, and it already has the LLM configured as well. So we can say like, hey, reply with okay. Let's see if it works. Oh, there's an error. Okay. Let's see if we can fix this error. This must have been because earlier the configuration failed. So let's see. Let me just double check that this user account here. So if I go to billing, I have LLM billing enabled. Yes. Yeah. So I have LLM billing enabled. So I should be able to bill through here. Let's see if we can figure out what might be going on. And then what we'll try to do is maybe hook up the ampersend SDK and see if that works. All right. So let's see if this is configured properly. And the password. So anytime you're going to access secrets, you should be authenticating. We have the vault. Okay, so this is, looks like it's not properly set up. So let me just double check on here to make sure that we have agents listed. Oh yeah, we don't have an agent. Let's try to manually do it then. So we'll do it through the UI, not using the setup script. So we'll say register agent. We'll call it, what was it called? My Cool Bot. This is a manual setup of My Cool Bot. I'll do API key, and I'll give it access to the vault here, and I'll enable the shroud. There we go. Register. This should work now. So if I have this key, so now I can give that agent its key. So let's come back over here. What do? We do just environment. Okay, so we need to do just env OpenClaw agent API key, agent API key equals, and we're going to delete these, but why did that work? Got one argument, but it requires two. Oh, it's not equals. That's kind of annoying. It's just a space. There we go. Okay, and then we need to put the agent ID as well. So let's do this. Now the agent ID also comes from the dashboard. So let's come here, and it's this right here. So do that, enter. Okay, now let's try it again. We might need to restart. Let's restart the front end. And let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. So, okay, should work. All right, let's try it. So now we're going to refresh one more time. And then what we'll try to do next is go into ampersend and then actually create a smart account through ampersend and see, oh, that seems like it's still thinking. Come on. Okay, there we go. All right, say reply with okay. There it goes. All right, cool, it worked. So we built an AI agent pretty quickly. What's important to note here is that we only are storing one key inside of our AI agent, and that is the API key for our infrastructure. So that's really, really useful because that way the agent only needs one key, and it can kind of like have rule-based access to get whatever secrets it needs. And we're not storing it just like sitting around on a server. Okay, so now we have this thing set up. So next, what I'd like to do is take this wallet and actually replace it. I want to replace it with an ampersend account, right? Because we have the ampersend SDK installed. So what I'm going to do is go to, let's see here, I need to open up the right account here. I need this one. Yes. Okay. I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to app.ampersend.ai. And I have the ability to create a new agent through ampersend. So if I create a new agent, I can call him My Cool Bot, and we'll configure spending. We'll give him $1. We'll set a daily spending limit for $1, automatically give him $1. We can set a spending limit to for $5 monthly per transaction. I could say you can only spend up to like 25 cents or something like that. We can also see if he wants to, if he's going to earn money, we can like automatically sweep funds from that wallet, which is really useful as well, but we'll just stick with this. So now we've created an agent through ampersend. And this will just take a second, but it's going to provision a signer key for that. And let's go ahead and set him up now. And it's going to ask us how we want to set it up. We're using Vercel AI SDK, and he is paying for services. We'll say he's a username, and we'll give him this key. I don't know actually if he needs this key, but yeah, we'll say my cool bot key. Okay, so I'm going to copy it here. All right, so I'm going to store the, let me minimize this. Go over here. Okay, we're going to go to vaults, and we're going to do, we're going to call it my cool bot ampersend. Create a vault. Oh, this is the vault. Actually, this is not what I want. Sorry, I'm going to delete that vault. We can use our existing vault. So we have the my cool bot here. So what we'll do is we'll add a secret. So we already have this. So this agent key was generated at the time that we spun up our environment. We want to add another one and put this key. We'll call this the ampersend key. And we'll do it at private keys / ampersend. And we'll do SSH key. No, sorry, where's it at? Private key. Paste it in. So it's secret. Store it. So we're storing the secret inside of a HSM here. And then so now we have this path, okay? So what we want to do is tell our AI coder or IDE that we want to now use the ampersend SDK and use the key that is stored in OpenClaw at this, what is it, here, and the name of the vault is, let's go back, my cool bot in this vault, and in this path. Let's see if I can figure it out. We'll also probably want to give it the example. So we just had this kind of example that it was going to give us. So we say continue. It's going to give us this right here. Copy all that. There it goes. Okay, so now we have that key. And here is the recommended code to implement this. So let's see if that figures it out. But basically what we're going to do, so we're going to switch from using that kind of randomly generated EOA to using a smart account wallet. And so the benefits there is that now we can control the payment layer, right? Like to only be able to spend $1 a day, $5 a month, or 25 cents per transaction. So essentially, if it did 320 or 425 transactions, they would all succeed, but then the fifth one would fail, right? So it's going to go ahead and build that out right now. And then what we'll do is if that works, we will, we'll test it and see if it works. And then if that works, then we're good. We basically have built an AI agent super fast, just using the starter kit in a secure way. We've got this, the security kind of knocked out of the ballpark. We have the payments layer because we're using ampersend. We can use the identity stuff to register it if we were to deploy this to base or something like that. And then we can also make it discoverable essentially because we're going to register with the ERC 8004. We could also give it that ENS name if we wanted to as well. We could basically, because we have the the public address, we could buy it a ENS name and register it. So we're kind of like checking off all these boxes. And then the very last would be like, okay, well, we need to like deploy it, which we might not get all the way there, but that is kind of like up for interpretation. It really depends on where you want your agent to live. But like a lot of people are deploying agents to Google Cloud or maybe even Vercel. You can deploy since we're using Vercel AI SDK. And it's just easy to use TypeScript and Next.js and deploy it there. So you get lots of flexibility. Okay, so it looks like it ran through. updated the TypeScript or looked at the TypeScript definitions, the version. It installed well, it already had the SDK actually, because I installed it at the beginning, but now it probably created it. It's building it out. Yeah, so it's building out. Okay, so it was using an old version of the SDK, so maybe we should fix that in the install script so that it installs the new one, but that's the newest version. It's hooking up everything. And now it's installing the dependencies. So far, so good. And then what we'll try to do is we'll try to get it to, yeah, maybe like send a transaction or something like that. That might be a good test. Or we could have it try to pay for like access to another server or something. Okay. All right, so while that's doing that, what I also want to show off here is like, what does the repo look like? So we have this packages folder, and inside there's the chain. So SRC agent wallet is the wallet that we deploy. It's not really a wallet, it's wallet. This needs to be changed to something else, but it's just a smart contract. I'm trying to figure out what would be good to put in here. So if anyone has ideas, please let me know. But basically this is like, I was thinking about actually deploying on multi-sig, which would be a really cool use case, because then you would have like a multi-sig where like the human or the deployer is the signer, the agent is a signer, and then you can like maybe add like the third signer could be the human that's using the application, and you could like propose transactions to the agent or something like that. So that might be something I do. But anyways, it's here. There's a test for it as well. And then the front end is all, again, in this case, I chose TypeScript and Next.js. So it installs everything here. It uses app router, similar to Scaffold-Agent, very, very, very similar. Very lightweight. It's not as advanced as Scaffold-Agent is. Okay, so let's see if it's done. So now it's building just to make sure everything passed, but pretty seamless so far. I just gave it that example, yeah, we're just going to town. While that's doing that, I'm going to close this out, clean up some memory. And okay, so okay, almost done. Hopefully it doesn't have any errors. And we might need to just kind of like double check and make sure everything works here. Okay, all right, there it goes. Wait for next build. Oh, it's still building. Okay, so it's still going. So maybe while that's doing that, I could also show off the stuff that our team's been working on for OpenClaw that we're going to be releasing. Well, it's technically out now. You could use it if you're using OpenClaw and you have access to ampersend. Ampersend is going GA very soon, and so tune in and make sure you're following the Edge of Node socials so you know when that happens. But there is a skill available for it as well. So if you go to ampersend.ai/skill.md, you'll see what that is. And so this is something you can just quickly give to your OpenClaw instance, or any editor really that's an agent, and it will be able to kind of like understand how to work with ampersend. But one of the cool things about it is it has the ability to just quickly, easily register. So you can install the SDK with this command. So the SDK is a command line tool as well. And you have this ability to basically like take your OpenClaw instance and register it with your ampersend account by just doing this very simple command right here. So if you give this URL to your OpenClaw agent and say, hey, like set up ampersend for me, it's going to say, yeah, sure, no problem. And it's going to execute these commands, it's going to install the SDK and then run this for you. And it's going to give you a URL. And then you're going to use that URL to like hook back and call into your ampersend account and create a wallet. And then you finalize it by doing this kind of like finish. So you say like, yep, all right, it's all created. And then you say like, go ahead and it's been approved, and it will like register your OpenClaw instance. So that way you can pay for anything over X402 or in general make transactions on, using ampersend. So very, very cool. And I'll show off that in just a sec. Let's see if this finished. Okay, it did finish. Okay. Environments you need. Ampersend API URL. This is all optional. That's good. Smart account address. Is this the public address? Smart account address? It's probably the public address. So if we go to ampersend, we have this right here. So let's say this is the ampersend mycoolbot smart account address. I'm just gonna see if it'll do it for me. Allow URL prefix. I don't think we actually need that. OpenClaw API key, which I already have that, I think. So let's see. So this is a smart account, and the mycoolbot is a signer here. And so we're just giving it this kind of like public address so that it knows exactly what it is. Okay, so now it's set it for us. Okay, cool. So we should actually be able to do it. Let's restart just to be safe. And let's see if it works. Okay, so we've replaced that with this. So let's go, where's it at? Oh, let's see. Too many windows open. Okay, here we go. Let's go back. Okay, localhost 3000. All right, it's compiling. Okay, so we have this loaded, still compiling. Could be a little faster. I've been trying to do some optimizations to it to make it a little better, but there are some heavy components for the AI stuff. So, okay, now we should be able to say like, what is your public address? Well, let's just see if that works. I don't know if it's going to work actually, because it might need a tool set up to do that stuff. Might not actually know. We could actually try to add that stuff, which would be kind of cool. It would be nice for us to create some components. Yeah, it doesn't know that. It needs a tool to figure that out. But let's go to the balance here. Maybe if we go to this balances tab, we can see what the wallet address is, because it should be using this public address that's here, which is, what is that? 0x9353. Let's see if that works. 0x9353. Oh, that is not right. Yeah, agent wallet. It's still using the old wallet. So let's just tell it that. Let's say like, seems to be using the generated wallet, not the new ampersand one. And then I would say like, oh, like I want to test using ampersand SDK in the chat window. Can you add a helper or something? So maybe what it'll do is it'll create like, I don't know, like a little button I can press just to like test it to make sure it's working. So first it's going to try to figure out why the address is probably so it needs to add an API route. Okay. So this is like production fun. So this is like base mainnet. So what we could do is also like give it a URL to test. There was like a really good URL that I was using to test. Where is it at? It's here. Let's see. Grab touch. Yeah, there's this like market mood one, which is here. Let's try that. Maybe a button to test an X402 payment to this address. Let's see if it can do that. So yeah, we want to test to make sure that our agent is using the ampersend SDK and using the proper pattern. So maybe that would be a good thing to cover. So the way the ampersend works is, there's like an API in the middle that, is going to basically sign off to make sure that these like thresholds have not been set, right? So the way we do that is if we go to like set up an agent and we look at Vercel AI SDK and then say pay for services, use my existing key, and we'll kind of look at the code here, but basically you create this treasurer. So the concept is we want to allow someone to pay for something, but we want to make sure that it goes through the treasurer first before actually approving the payment. Oh, this example actually does not show that treasurer pattern, at least I don't think here. Let's see. Yeah, we might need to tell it actually. So if we go to like docs dot ampersend dot AI, let's see, and we look at the core concept SDK, SD architecture. Let's see, here it is, X402 treasurer. So this is actually what we want to use. There's ampersend treasurer, then there's naive treasurer. Naive is just going to say like, oh, well, you could just like go ahead and make any payments you want as long as you have the private key and you're able to sign the transaction. You essentially just let it go through. Ampersend treasurer is going to be essentially making sure that before that API request is completed successfully, then after that you can make the payment. So what we'd want to do is probably just tell our AI real quickly to make sure that we're using this. So just to be sure, make sure we are using, what's it called? Ampersend treasurer right here. Just to make sure, because I feel like maybe it might not be using it. And what else does it say here? Optional. Yeah. Okay, so it is set up the right way, I think. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so it's good. So let's try it one more time. Where are we at? Here. Do we need to restart? I don't think so. We can just go back to where we were. Okay, let's refresh real quick just to make sure. Okay, what does this say? Verify, setup. What does that do? I love how AI just like adds this stuff. This is what I asked it to do. It's doing it. It says that it's all set up. Oh yeah, so it has the address here. That's the one we want on base. And the vault is being, so the secret, the private key is being read from OpenClaw. And there we go, test. See if it works. Yeah, woohoo, we did it. All right, cool. So we made a HTTP 402 request using the ampersend SDK to get some market mood, and it came back 200 okay. It did the 402 and then it got back the data. So if we go over here to ampersend and we look at my cool bot, it should have some data here. Let's refresh real quick just to make sure. If it doesn't, then it could be an issue with ampersend right now, or it should, oh, so the value went down. So it made the thing, because I had $1 in there. Now it's at like 0.98, but I don't see the transaction here. It could be that it's delayed right now. There's a lot of changes going on with ampersend right now, but yeah, it could be it's just not populated yet. It might take a sec. It should show here as well. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. But it worked. It's awesome. Cool. This was really cool. I did not expect it to be so easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this stuff down for right now. And what I'll do is I'll wrap up this package and I'll put it minus all the secrets on like a repo, and then I'll share it in this stream so that you guys can just look down below and get that. The other thing I want to show off to do today is, and I kind of already kind of prefaced it, is the skill stuff. So we're adding this OpenClaw. Well, we already have the OpenClaw integration, but next week, you know, when ampersend comes out, you'll be able to just install this skill and then use that to make X402 transactions. And what's really cool is we're working here as an example. I have two different OpenClaw agents actually. This one here is actually has ampersend set up, and it has the skill installed. It has a subgraph MCP server running locally that has access to the graph's decentralized network to get data. So we have this subgraph MCP server that you can deploy. So I've deployed it inside of my OpenClaw agent here, and I have it serving over X402. So it can accept payments. So if we come over here, like we could say like, what should another OpenClaw agent use to access the subgraph MCP server over X402? Let's see. It's going to tell us exactly what we need, but we've essentially set this up with a ampersand key, smart account. It's using the skill. We're able to like basically sell the graph network data through here, which is really cool. And we'll just go ahead and say, yeah. So it's going to tell me exactly what it needs. And then what I'm going to do is give that to my other OpenClaw agent and say, okay, cool. Now go get this data and get back. I don't know, maybe we'll ask it to do something very, very interesting. Here it goes. It's thinking, kind of giving me like and this repo also will be public soon as well, so that you guys can replicate this. And we'll make sure we send a tweet about this so that you guys can try it out. But it's pretty cool. Like any OpenClaw agent can just act as a data provider for the graph network now, all over X402. Okay, well, it's taking a while. We can come back to it, I guess, for the sake of time. I've already done this earlier, and it's over here. So let's just have it do it again. Do another request and get me the newest info. So what it's doing here is we also have this OpenClaw agent hooked to ampersend, and it's using X402 to go out to the other OpenClaw agent, get that data. That other OpenClaw agent is going to the graphs network, figuring out the response, and then giving the data back to the other OpenClaw agent. So two OpenClaw agents are talking to each other over X402, and there it goes. It got the info back. So we see here that we get like the latest swaps on Uniswap v3 from this timestamp, which is just a few moments ago. We see that the most recent one is PAXG and XAUT, River, Wrapped Bitcoin, Wrapped ETH, Wrapped Bitcoin, CBBTC, USDC, Zero, Pepe. Pepe is still going hard. And Chainlink and Wrapped ETH. Wow, Chainlink, go Chainlink. So very, very cool stuff. All real time, paid a penny for that to get that data from my AI agent. Really, really cool. And very, very awesome stuff. So yeah. So it's a lot of fun. All right, let me go ahead and stop sharing here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stop sharing. Awesome. Okay, cool. So this was a fun one. This is really cool. We're starting to really like, I feel like all of the pieces are coming together, and we're really starting to have all the plumbing we need to like build the agentic economy, and like the future of like agents is really, really taking shape. It's a really exciting time to be around. And we would love to hear what you guys are building. We'd love for you guys to please, again, subscribe to the EdgeNode X account, subscribe to the YouTube if you're into that. Please let us know what you'd like to see and what you thought of this demo and this kind of like live workshop that we did today. This is an exciting one. And thank you so much for everyone for joining, and we'll catch you guys next time. So thank you.